Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Brian J. on the Grateful Dead.
So obviously the name of this podcast, All That Jam, we focus, on jam bands, and we all know that genre just is amorphous kind of in its own way. One of the things that I get really curious about for some artists is whether they chose jam bands or jam bands chose them and how they feel about that, because it is not everyone's first choice to be necessarily scooped up in that web. And I would love to know if how you feel about that association, because it definitely follows y'all around, but I don't really know if it's appropriate.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first off, I have a deep connection with like the original jam band, which is the Grateful Dead. Now, I don't listen to the Dead now, uh, but in high school, I went to high school in New Jersey. Like you couldn't avoid it, and it was like sort of just discovering smoking weed and uh, then having buddy like in my social circle get into Grateful Dead and like discovering actually I'll tell you exactly how it happened, the my connection with Grateful Dead. I had a buddy in science class, and we would just always have a good time. We're always laughing, and like I was into Steve Vai. I thought Steve Vai was like a great guitar player. I was into blues before that, but I was in a little moment of time where that was my thing, like this pushing the technique of the instrument. And this guy was like, "Yeah, Jerry Garcia is a way better guitar player than Steve Vai," and I was like, "No, it isn't." And I was like, "I'll learn. Give me any Jerry Garcia. I'll learn and play it like no problem." So he's like, "Okay," and he gave me some a from like the '70s, "Eyes of the World." That was the song, and he's like, "Okay, here, learn this solo." And I spent like a weekend kicking around with that recording, sort of trying to mimic. And I called him on the phone, and I kind of mimicked a little of what Jerry was doing. He was impressed, but that was sort of the beginning of like, oh, there's really something here to this guitar playing. And to this day, I think he's phenomenal. And just that whole thing of like catching this wave, just like the journey, like just you're so in this musical journey, and as it relates to other musicians, that you're all feeling each other and going to this place. I really love that. So fast forward to what Pimps of Joytime. Pimps of Joytime is not. There's some jamming that happens, but it's a vocal band more. Um, and our booking agent, uh, Jesse Arato, so sadly passed on recently. Uh, he put us out there. That was his world. He was String Cheese's tour manager, and just deep connection in that world. And that's what he put us on there. And it seemed to be like close enough of a cross section where it built up. And of course, like you kind of go with what, oh, they like jamming, all right, let's jam. And I but a lot of what we do involves Ableton as a sampler, which is puts it in a different place, a little more electronic. Um, but yeah, I would say we're primarily a vocal band, and then second is rhythm, the thing that happens with the drums, and then third, sort of the fairy dust on top, which is guitar and a little improvisation.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Jesse Madison House. Just very, very special. I don't know what the scene would be like without all that they did, for all those years. And I know Madison House still doing amazing things. If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.